LSPIRG is a social and environmental justice advocacy organization. So we're a nonprofit that operates on campus inside of a network of many other PIRGs in Canada and the United States. And what we do is work with students and community members, find out what they're passionate about, and try to give them the tools they need to actually go out and make social change themselves. In the past few years, it's been kind of an issue on multiple university campuses. Brock has had an issue with it every single year, including, I think it was last year, the grand prize of their school, funded, student union led Halloween party. The winner of the prize was for men in blackface. It was brought to our attention from students at the Waterloo campus because this office is really new. So this is actually a campaign that started last year. And they had raised some concerns about things that they'd seen their peers do and arguments that they had to get in over it, and had asked if they could participate in a campaign. The campaign gets a lot of good feedback from people at the school and in the community. People generally think it's pretty great. This last year we added one new picture to the series, and it was a trans woman that goes to the school, and the picture that she had held up was of a Caitlyn Jenner costume. So we were also talking about trans misogyny, and that went over really well with a lot of people. Online, the campaign really takes another turn because at a certain point it gets shared all over the United States and all over all sorts of pages, really conservative pages, and we're inundated with hate mail. Intense hate mail.
That's crazy.
And intense hateful comments on the page, 1,000 a day. So pretty much for that entire time we just have one person dedicated deleting them and responding to them when we can. So there's a lot of people that don't like it. The campaign is centered around Halloween, so we run it in October last year and we ran it this year. We'll probably do it again next year.
Okay.
Costumes in general, yeah, it's all a big problem. It's been a lot in the news lately, especially in Toronto. There's the two women who are trying to take the Spirit Halloween costumes to the Human Rights Tribunal for all the Indigenous women costumes, the reservation royalty, and Indian babe, and all these things. So it's an issue all year round, but obviously Halloween is when the biggest push for costumes and buying costumes comes up. For me, something that I notice a lot, because I'm Indigenous, is definitely a rise in. For instance, I really like this store, Plato's Closet. It's a secondhand store, and I was there the other day, and I was flipping through the shirts. Just this inundation of Indigenous symbols and headdresses, printed on the tees, and dream catchers and stuff like that. And that always kind of bothers me. You see someone wearing it, especially having a dream catcher or something that was a ceremonial thing on their shirt, and I'm you don't even know what that is. You just think it's cool and it looks neat and it's exotic. So to me it feels like disrespect. The fashion industry. I guess to me I would just be why? What's the intention behind that? And really all of this cultural appropriation stuff, it comes down to intention. People want to say oh, what does it matter if I just like the way this looks and I want to wear it? It's not a big deal. You should just get over it. But even that intention of you don't want to discuss it or you don't have a problem with wearing it because you literally think it's just meaningless, is a passing fad for you. You don't have any interest in meaningfully engaging with it, which is really the difference between a mutual exchange or a cultural exchange and cultural appropriation, right? It's just picking and choosing from a culture that you're part of the dominant culture. That's a culture that you have traditionally had a relationship of like oppression, especially in case of like Indigenous people here, still existing on stolen land, and taking out things that you like and just using them as props and decorations and things like that. There's like another side of it where people can like meaningfully engage in learning about things and understanding things, and you know, perhaps like wear certain symbols around things that they actually have taken the time to understand. But the intention of treating something as just a decoration or something meaningless is offensive. There are some people who engage with different cultures in a meaningful way. I'll give you an example. I know someone, a young woman, who actually, like, you know, went to India, spent like 3 years there, studied under like an Indian yogi and like learned yoga and all this stuff, and like came back. And while she was there, she swore a bindi. She's a white lady. And she still sometimes wears it here. And even though her argument, because for her, that's a line where it's not appropriation, I would argue still against that. But for her, she's like, I wear this and like I understand the meaning of it, and it's meaningful to me, and like I do it with like a really serious intention. So for her, that's a line of like, this is not inappropriate. But my argument I make to her is like, when you're walking down the street in Canada and you're a white woman and you're wearing a bindi on your head and nobody knows you, they have no idea of that context. All they're seeing is you consuming that symbol and that thing. And it also just validates their own feelings of being able to go out and do the same thing. Because again, they don't know you, they don't know the context. So in doing that, you're contributing to this like public allowance of cultural appropriation and taking. And so again, you might draw a line over something where you're like, this is really meaningful to me, but we also have to just think about the like public appearance, what that looks like, and the effects it might have like in a wider society, and maybe just like making more respectful choices. Like if it's not incredibly important to you like as a person to wear that, maybe don't.